plus weeks. So it would be, I thought this could be a great start to my taking over, to have you on board and get to know about your experience about how it was for you. So yeah, welcome, Marcus.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Yash. I am so happy for you. This has been a journey for me to begin office hours. This is Simon's idea from 3 years ago that he started up,
Yeah.
I took quickly. And also Kevin Jones, shout out to Kevin. He was part of this as well. He was really stewarding this forward for years along with me. And yeah, I hosted 140 plus episodes, and now they're yours. So it's really fun to be able to work with you these last few years, and then now to see you as the head of the Graph Builders Office Hours, man.
Amazing, amazing. So yeah, the first question that I would definitely have is now, could you tell more about the role that you are transitioning into, and like what does it look for you ahead?
Yeah, so I'm still DevRel here at Edge and Node and have been for 3+ years now. And at this point, the shift in my focus has been from working on subgraphs as the primary technology that I was educating the world about to now working more with the ampersand and amp side of the technologies that Edgenode is building. So with the market shifting, with the world shifting as is, still doing DevRel work, and at the same time, that I'm working with are changing. Also doing more business development work. If you wouldn't believe it, I've been to dozens of hackathons in my career thus far, and just came back from Miami after wearing a suit for the first time at one of these events. So it's very much a different world. Could you imagine me in a suit? Yash, I was in a suit. So that yeah, it's a
Definitely.
shifting market, shifting world, and it feels like I'm evolving as a person, which is good.
Yeah, definitely being used to wear the graph swag all the time, and now going into
Yes.
this must be really good. But yeah, on that note, would you like to tell the like builders or anyone watching that where would which are the events that you will be going on to next, so
Sure.
that you have in calendar, so they can see you, maybe come say
Sure.
hi.
Sure, absolutely. In early June, it's June 3rd and 4th, there's an Agentic Summit event in New York City that I'll be attending, as well as a Stables Summit in New York City that I'll be attending on the 3rd and the 4th. And then on the 8th, and a few days afterwards, I'll be at ETH and ETH Global. ETH is ETH Global's first conference specific to be at the intersection between TradFi and DeFi. So I'm very excited to be there. And then, of course, ETH Global New York City is right afterwards. I'll be there too. So that'll be June 8th, 9th, 10th, around there, as I recall off the top of my head. So yeah, if any listeners are out there, go ahead, say hi, reach out. I'll be happy to see you in person.
Amazing, amazing. So now, before getting started, I would like to tell the builders about the support side things that I've been seeing. So it's about the subgraphs that me and Jerry and Mitch that we are working on. So some of the subgraphs are being removed by the upgrade indexer as regarding to our policy that we have made. You can also check it out in the docs as well. So it has the rules of if the storage space is more than 10 GB and the deployment time is more than 14 days. So I would highly suggest you'll also be getting an email about that this subgraph is now will now be unallocated by the upgrade indexer. So I would definitely see the other like solutions for this is maybe you can try increasing the number of queries that you're making to the subgraph. So that will keep the upgrade indexer allocated to that particular subgraph. Another thing is you can also signal the subgraph with some GRT, so other additional indexers can also help index it. So these are some of the measures you can take to avoid being stopped by at production. So yeah. And now coming to the graph pillars of SRs. So as you know, Marcus has been doing this for quite a while. So I would love to know about firstly which of the teams, as you have like the panoramic view of the entire graph ecosystem through the builders of SRs, like talking to uh, teams and products of different level that are using the Graph products. So would love to know which of these teams that were like that you most liked, or uh, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, the core dev teams have always been enjoyable to bring on for any type of office hours discussion. I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite at this point. So what I'll say is, I'll moving away from core dev teams. I always enjoyed having hackathon participants really jump on here, and that was always a joy. Having on core dev teams, that's great, but it always felt like if you were building on the graph network in terms of subgraphs, or if you were an indexer, I really enjoyed having those builders on here. This is the Graph Builders office hours. So anytime I would be at a hackathon, I'd say if you're first, second, third prize and you want to come on, please come on. And I have a lot of episodes like that. Those are my favorite episodes by far, to talk with the builders, see how they were creatively using the Graph network as well as other protocols and putting together some interesting projects.
Yes, definitely that makes sense, because me coming to these hackathons as well, like I've been attending the same hackathons mostly, and actually
Mhm.
seeing the developers build on those on our products for just like within for just a weekend, and then
Yeah.
actually maybe trying to build it into something. So that's definitely something we want to
Yeah.
know more.
Yeah, and it's changed
Amazing.
so much. I mean, I got brought on before AI coding was a thing, and now it's all we're seeing at these hackathons. So I'm curious how how this is going to evolve, and seeing how essentially the submissions are sometimes blind code that have simply been pushed to the repo, and it compiles, it runs, and yeah, it's been an evolution to see. And I'm curious about your first few guests who are coming from hackathons, how they're going to share their agentic builds.
Definitely. So on that note, are we doing any hackathons that you might aware of that we can look for?
So yeah, I mean, I'll be over at ETH Global, New York City. I I need to double check if we have a booth there or not, if we're sponsoring or not. I do know that right now, I'm not part of the hackathon pushes, if there are any within the Graph ecosystem, but there may be some.
Got it. Yeah, I think I have seen that we are doing the Lisbon one, E Global Lisbon, which is
Mm,
end of July. So
cool.
if you're planning to go, so please do build on the graph and do reach out if you have made something like build something amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, and what else? So there has there any been like maybe subgraphs or anything that you are seeing the trends that upcoming with the use cases that we are having with the graphs products, or in
Yeah.
general that you're excited about?
Yeah, very much. The X402 unlock that has been applied to the Graph network, that's huge. For those of you not aware of X402, it allows for agentic payments where you don't need an API key, you don't need to do auth. You simply authorize an agent to use X402 as a payment protocol, and then from there, it's able to make it's able to transfer funds and buy and even sell things for you agentically, which is incredible. And the Graph Network has unlocked that, where if you want to go ahead and buy data from the graph, you could use X402. So that is quite fascinating to me. I think that's a great unlock. So if any builders out there haven't tried that out yet, let alone using X402 at all, go ahead and check it out. X402.org is the website, just to get a quick read on it, see the ecosystem, and then from there have the graph network unlock. That's very exciting. X402 is also being used in Ampersand, which is another product that is being built by Edge and Node. So yeah, it's being put in this entire crypto world right now. So if anyone's paying attention to building in this space, I'd say pay attention to X402.
Yeah, so on that note as well, now the graph networks also does support the X402. So now you can pay for your queries on the graph network by using X402. That we have the API and that has X402 as a parameter inside it. It also is in our doc. So I think I will be doing one episode entirely on that, walking you through the exact steps and how that can be done. So yeah, along with that, I've also seen like the MPP protocol as well by the Tempo. So I think this agentic economy is going to be like super big. Now with the graph, along with the users, the graphs users will also be like different agents and institutions as well. So I think this is definitely a very big push into that side. We also like currently have the agent zero subgraphs, which is the ERC 004 subgraphs registry, and we are live on 5 chains right now. This is a public goods built by the graph and for the graph. So definitely do check it out on the Graph Explorer for the agent zero subgraphs. So yeah. And now, coming more on your side, like on maybe AMP or ampersand, could you give a little like brief on what is AMP and what is ampersand?
Sure, great question. So, what is AMP? AMP is at its lowest level a database. And it's a database that was created by the same team, the database architecture that was created by the same team that invented subgraphs. So, think of this database as very much blockchain native. Think of this database as plug and play with TradFi tooling. Think of this database as being able to pull from any EVM or non-EVM chain, and any is too strong of a word, with lots of different chains, Solana included, EVM, non-EVM, into a verifiable and compliant database that is attractive for traditional finance institutions. The goal for traditional finance is to, of course, get blockchain data at this current time and to have blockchain data in a state that is defensible from Genius Act audits, where if anyone out there doesn't know about the Genius Act, it is a landmark legislation that essentially gives more instruction on should banks be able to interact with blockchain data, how should they do that? And if they break the laws, then they're liable. And the Genius Act goes through that. So this database architecture does very well to provide TradFi institutions with the ability to have good, clean access to blockchain data in a defensible way from auditors that might want to go in and say, hey, something's wrong here, and then they can cryptographically verify that it's all kosher. It's good to go. So from there, that's AMP. The other product that EdgeNode's been working on is Ampersand, and we just talked about X402. That's a core part of Ampersand. Ampersand's goal is to give agents not only wallets, but guardrails with those wallets. If you're going to spin up an agent just to build a little React app locally on your computer, that's great. The next step, as we are all crypto native here, is to give them a wallet. And if we're going to give these agents wallets, we need to be able to have guardrails on these wallets and these agents, where if they overspend, if they are spending too much in a day, too much in a month, we need to be able to control that. So right now, giving essentially LLMs a wallet, and with LLMs, their innate architecture will hallucinate. We need to build architecture and a infrastructure around these LLMs that natively, if you just throw an LLM out there, it's going to overspend. And having infrastructure around that as baked in needs to be part of the equation if agentic commerce is going to take off beyond 0.00001 cents, which right now X402 is great at doing these very fast micro transactions. If that's all it'll ever be and the blast radius is very small, so be it. But really, agentic commerce has more potential than that. And having guardrails is going to be important. Even at those small amounts too, at 0.0001 cents, if you do that a million times, which agents can do, that's a concern as well. So that's AMP and ampersand at a real quick, high level overview. And I've been working on those two products, not at the engineering level, but on the marketing of those products for a while now. So hopefully we're getting that communication out there regularly.
Got it. Amazing. Yeah. So along with this, like we recently have also announced the support for Solana and AMP. So as you like know, like Solana is with like the fast indexing, it has to be AMP takes really good care of that. So we are seeing like good results. So if you want to try it out, do check out the AMP repo by Node on Node's GitHub and do try it out. And
Yeah,
other than
and
that, on the
also you
network,
could also reach out to me at any time. That's a good one too. DMs are open. Happy to get you started. Also, go to the EdgeNode website. That's a good place to get started too.
yeah, and definitely. And I'm mostly excited for, the part where once as the horizon is live on the graph network, which is the thing that allows any data service to be live on the graph network. We will have amp hopefully soon on the network as well, and we are also looking at one of the important part of amp is like the amp powered subgraphs, which is I am personally excited about. That would help a lot of users who are currently building subgraphs and working in that uh, can look into AMP powered subgraphs as well. The docs for that are also like live in our repo as well. So do check that out as well. Yeah. And along with that, so we can also get, so before that, let me just also give you guys an update on the token API part. So with the token API now, the latest updates have been like the endpoints have become very optimized for Solana, and we have also introduced the support for Polymarket API. So if you want the Polymarket data, Token API does like an amazing job for that. So yeah, these are a few things to look at. Amazing, yeah. So now, Marcus, for you on the side, like I would ask more you on the AMP itself, AMP and ampersand. So for AMP, as like you have been going to these institutions and like these events. So would love to know like what exactly like are you pitching them, and what makes us a differentiator than the rest of the people who are building in the same space.
Yeah, so it's a good question. With AMP, there's a unique problem that's providing a solution for, where a lot of these institutions are new to blockchain, and the foot guns that exist where these data teams coming in, they are unaware sometimes of the foot guns. In conversations I've had with some of these teams, they've been doing their best to get blockchain data in a way that is defensible, and simply communicating with these teams about the different foot guns, the different potholes, the different blind spots that they might have about this data pipeline that they are hoping to be defensible against the Genius Act. That's been a really fruitful conversation with a lot of these teams, just going into detail about their architecture and then where those different areas might have issue. Now, once that is identified, it's pretty easy to talk about AMP, where we have umpteen years of indexing and database experience with subgraphs. We've taken those engineers who've been so good at building that technology and used worldwide for almost a decade now, and focusing on this new problem set where they've thought ahead of those issues. They've thought of those foot guns. They've thought of those problems and provided a really elegant way for institutions to not have to worry. And so that's really been a helpful conversation to have with these teams, just to level set with them as much as possible, to understand they got to move quickly, and to understand that we have a product that provides solutions to problems they haven't even considered yet. And that's been very, very nice for us, specifically also on the compliance side of things. For ampersand, it is almost the inverse, where ampersand is very much not necessarily about compliance at this time. It's more about thinking one step ahead about the integration that these agentic companies would like to provide, and the safety that these agentic companies would like to provide for their deployed agents. And so it is both plays, if you want to look at them from a high level, is about safety and confidence, but with two different verticals. One being agentic commerce, the other one being a TradFi DeFi intersection. Both are about safety and confidence.
Got it, got it. Yeah, so that totally makes sense because like coming from the AMP, we also have this additional amazing feature that I like of the verifiability of the data. So right now with the subgraph, so what happens is sometimes the RPCs have the corrupt data and that is being fed. So we need to make sure from the indexer side that it does not. So this definitely is an amazing part of that. So yeah, now coming back to the builders office hours. So I would love to know like what more, what were your big learnings, and what were the guests that you thought you wanted to bring but that I could look into.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say the biggest learnings are in any time you invite someone into your home, you want to be a good host. You want to consider things that they might not have considered, and to also be accommodating to whatever they're bringing in. And so people many times in preparing for these office hours would say, could I get, a set of questions, and could I get something very strict on timing and all this? And I would provide that. And some are not looking for that, and they're looking for more of a casual conversation. Being flexible to however comfort is provided is important with office hours. So that's the tip I'll give you moving forward with this. Get to know what they're expecting and accommodate to their expectations, with the North Star of builders office hours being the guide. So I think that's the tip that I'll give. If there are guests I would like to have on for you, right now, I would look at anyone using X402 and push into that. I'd say in this next year, that's going to be a reasonable thing to get to know. That is a good place to have a bridge between the normies of the world, I think, where yes, it is very much a crypto type of concept, but also it's HTTP protocol. So it does fit into non crypto worlds. So I think this is a good place to be where crypto and Web2 are looking at X402 as a nice bridge of communication where I think that this can be a very healthy thing. So if I were you for this next year, uh, push into what the graph is doing with X402, and good luck with that push, my friend.
Definitely, yeah. So, I have been brainstorming a lot already, and I already have a few topics and things that I would definitely want to go over. So, definitely stay tuned for what's coming on the Builders Office as. And yeah, as Marcus has been like a great mentor and a friend to me, guiding every step of the way. So, thank you also for that. And yeah, so we'll be having some closing thoughts now. And before that, would you like to do get in touch with Marcus as these at these different events that you are planning to go if you're planning to go? And yeah, so Marcus, any thoughts, last thoughts?
You're the man, Yash. You got it from here, buddy.
Awesome, amazing. So we have kept this very short and simple kind of a handoff to get to know the learnings and what's coming up next. So do stay tuned and reach out to Marcus if you are building on Ampersand. Also reach out to me as well if you want, and I can definitely help in my ways possible. So yeah, keep an eye out for everything, and I'll get you in touch with shortly. Thank you all.